Okay, guys. I'll just give it a minute and see if anyone comes on. Oh, shit. Hey, Sarah. I'll just give it a minute. Get out of there, miss. I hope you're well. Hey, Angie. Hey, Heather. Oh. Good evening, Angie. It's actually morning over here. It's 10 past 10 in the morning. Hey, Trista. Hello, Chantel. Well, I've got a few on. That's good to see. I was almost going to not cancel it, but change this live. But so I was struggling to find information on, and I was looking specifically at homemade and bought, and magical properties and things like that. But I've got a bit of stuff, so we'll see how we go. I'll just give it another second or minute. I'll have a drink. So, all right, well, we might get started. So we're going to look at homemade and bought wands and the differences between them. And when I was sort of trying to get my head around this, well, thank you, Chantel. What was I saying? When I tried to get as I was trying to get my head around it, I was thinking in lots of different directions. But I thought it'd be good to look at first. Hey, Linda, what is a wand, and what is it used for? So wands, they come in lots of shapes, sizes, different materials, and I've got a couple here that I can show you as we go through. What is a wand? It's an extension of you. That's what you use them for. You use them to channel your energy through as well. To do things like, not enlighten it, but, well, yeah, I guess you are enlightening it. What's a better word I'm looking for? Amplify your magic or your intentions. So it's a good way to look at a wand is it as an extension of yourself, as an extension of your arm, your body, your hand. They're a tool, as we all know, and I'm feeling like a bit of a tool at the moment. And you use them for specific purposes, or intentions. They can help you focus more on what your intention is. An example is like if you're casting a circle, it can help you, your wand can help you give more of a focus on where you're casting the protection barriers in each direction of your circle. So yeah, they're used to direct and focus your energy. Does that make sense so far? I hope so. And like I said, they can be made of a whole heap of different materials. They can be used for different purposes and different intentions. And they come in different sizes as well. So, is one better than the other? And this is my personal opinion, because really I couldn't find much information on the two. And I think no. They're definitely a personal choice, whether you make your own or you buy one. That doesn't mean that one is better than the other. They'll have different qualities and different properties, but it doesn't make either or better than the other. And like everything I said, there are differences. So we'll have a look at some of the differences. Some of the differences could be in the type of wood that you use. So if you choose a wooden wand, like this one, and this one is a piece of stringy bark gum. That one's actually my mum's. And you can see it's really plain. It is just the wood and it's got copper wrapped around it. Okay, and I'll show you that one again a bit later on, because I'll talk about copper and the properties on a wand. I've got one here that is, mine are all worse for wear. I'm going to fix them. And I've just found, I've just perfected my resin to stick on my crystals and things with. So, because it tended to, when it got really hot, it would get soft again. So they'd fall off. Heather has both. Yep, and she finds the bought one aesthetically, but the home one made feels more powerful. Yep, that's very true. So this one actually is made of a bit of my pear tree. Yeah, I love that wand. It's very nice. It works a treat for me. So there's a couple of woods I've got. You can have crystal ones. This is my mum's. This is rose quartz and selenite. I've got just a plain selenite one. So I use this in cleansing rituals that I want to do. I've got this one that's a jade and selenite. This one's mine. And I use these in prosperity, wealth, abundance, things like that. That one. So even with the crystal wands, there are differences in even those. These are both selenite, so they're good for cleansing and also good for healing as well. But this one has the jade on it, so that's going to give a different correspondence to it. And Chantel, do you mean that one or that one? That one, I think. So these are both selenite base. Well, this one's all selenite. This is selenite with jade. And you can just have plain, simple little crystal ones. Just like them. You can also have metal-based ones as well. And this one's a copper one. Yeah, the jade's one of my, I love the jade. It's one of my favourites. I've had that for about 15 years now. So yeah, there are a lot of differences. And I guess what I'm trying to point out with that is whether you make your own or whether you buy one, it's it's what your intention is for that wand. And you might have one intention. It could be that you want to work purely on abundance and prosperity. So you might choose something like that. If you want to work on more of a healing one, I use this one. This is got kyanite in the end. Oh, the Septarian sphere, I love it. And you know, I was looking through one of these books, this one, and I want to get me and Crystal one. I just saw Septarian, if I can find it, Septarian wands. LMNOQR. Oh God. Lucky I learnt the alphabet. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, I so want one now. And I know Crystal loves her Septarian stone too, so I'm going to look into getting a couple. Anyway, we'll get into the books later. I forgot what the hell I was saying. Yeah, so some of the things to keep in mind is what you want for your intention for the wand. Is it for a specific purpose, like I've dedicated that one for, or is it for like a general purpose, like I might use this one for? So think about your intent behind why you're actually getting what you're getting. And I guess another really important thing is your connection to it. Are you drawn to it? Because the more you're drawn to it, the more it will work for you and with you. And that's the purpose of them. Like I said, they're an extension of you and your magic and your abilities. So you want it to work with you. That's about all the information on the wands, but I was going to get a bit into different types of things like woods and crystals and intentions and a couple of metals. Are you okay with that? Did that make sense so far? So really there's not, I mean, there are huge differences between them. But there's also huge differences between just bought wands. Like I said, between, is it a crystal one? Is it, because this is a bought one that I got. This has got amethyst, clear quartz, and on a wood base. I think it was, I don't even know what kind of wood it was now. That's pretty old, that one. Yeah, so there are lots of differences, and these all sort of boil down to what your intention is for the use of it. I can show you a couple of these ones too. So this one, and these are all made. This one is the one I actually use to go around my property to cast any of my protection spells that I do. And this is, as you can see, this is just a homemade one. This is a piece of gum. It's a spotted gum, this one. And I tend to use a lot of gum, apple and pear when I make my wands. But I do make a lot for healing as well, because I'm sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable on my coffee table. Hey, Casey. Hello, Renette. That's what I'm mostly into, is the healing side of the craft. And I do a lot of Reiki and things like that. And this is a homemade one I made. Like I said before, it's got kyanite on it. And I use this a lot on myself. I just rub it on my sore spots and just try and get, because kyanite's an energy mover, and so I try and get all the blockages and the energy moving in my throughout my body. So that's that one's purpose, and I specifically made that as a healing wand for my shoulders and back. So are there any questions so far? I feel like I'm rambling. So I thought what I'd do is now talk about a little bit about some of the types of wood, and I'm not going to do a lot because there's so many. And I guess for what you can do, if you have a particular intentional purpose and you feel like you want to make a wand for it or buy a wand for it, then have a look into some of the things. If you want a wooden base with crystals on it, then and say you want it to do your prosperity and wealth and abundance spells, then you'd look at things like, well, what type of crystals can I use for that? What's a good wood to use? And you might even look at what metals can I use to wrap it with or to add around it. That's another one of Mum's, and that's a blue kyanite as well she made, and it's got 2 quartzes on it with the copper wrap, and she makes them all so that when she puts the copper on, that her fingers can touch the copper. You can see that. I don't know if you can see that, but it sits on that copper, so it's conducting her energy through it. Let me see what I've missed. White oak, Ronnie, that's beautiful. From your backyard, I love it. Most of these come from either my backyard, like my pear tree, and my apple tree, or around the neighbourhood. Actually, I went to Coles yesterday, or went down to the shop, parked under my favourite tree, and sitting on the ground was this gorgeous thing. So, and it just fits beautifully in my hand. I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I have no idea. It's actually eucalyptus. So I'm thinking probably a healing or a protection wand, but I'm thinking more for healing. So, yeah. It'll give me a, electric connection, yeah. I just saw it there and I picked it up and I thought, oh, you don't need any sticks. And I put it back down and I went shopping and come back out and I picked it back up and chucked it in the car and come home with it. So I'm actually going to, I guess, whittle it. I'm going to use the knife and get all the bark off it first, and then I'll smooth it down with some sandpaper and whatever. I'm not sure yet. You could even, if you're making your own wands, you can even put protection symbols on them too. If you would burn and things like that. So I've got the Ankh and Triquetra on this one. So, finders keepers, that's what I think, Ronnie. Because as you know, I think you know, I live up in the Adelaide Hills, and so there are like lots of trees around in the Adelaide Hills, and I go down to the city or wherever, and I'll come home with sticks, and hubby says, "You're the only person I know that brings bloody wood back to the Adelaide Hills." I love it. So let's have a bit of a chat about some of the types of woods and some of their magical correspondences that you can use them for. And I'll start off with applewood. Applewood is good for any work that you might want to do with the underworld, any goddess work, love, healing, immortality, and it's also good for any garden work. So if you want to get out and do some a prosperity or abundance spell in your garden, you might choose to use some applewood for that. Bamboo is good for fortune, flexibility, longevity, luck, and protection. So if you're thinking of doing any of those, fortune being, again, prosperity, abundance, you might want to use bamboo. Birch is good for birth, blessings, creativity, crafting, fertility, goddess work, healing, inspiration, love, protection, and renewal. So each wood has a lot of different correspondences. So I think getting clear what your intention, especially if you're making or buying, what your intention for the use of that wand would be. Bottle brush, abundance, banishing, renewing energy. It's good for fertility work, love and purification. And I've just noticed that my bottle brush has lost a couple of branches, so I'm going to go and have a look and see what I can salvage from it. Cedar is good for balance, dreams, healing, immortality, longevity, prosperity, protection, purification, and wisdom. And then you've got elder, blessings, creativity, fairies, so if you want to work with the fae. Good fortune, healing, magic, prosperity. So all forms of magic. The elder's good for protection, sleep, and transition. Then you've got fig. Fig is really good if you want to do any ancient ancestry work. It's good for divination, enlightenment, fertility, good luck, love, and prosperity. Then you've got good old holly. I'm just answering Linda's question. Do you use found branches only or cut a branch you like? I usually just use the fine branches, ones I find. But if I'm cutting back the pear tree or the apple tree, or it loses like a branch or it's hanging, then I'll have a look and see if anything takes my eye. I'll grab it. I don't usually cut. I don't just cut a piece because I want it. It has to be because I've trimmed the tree back or stuff like that. Does that answer your question, Linda? I usually just find them laying around. I found this one. I love this one. I broke it. Oh, shit. And that's why, because they fall over. This is how I found this. It's like this shape. And I just did the wrapping on it. And I had two garnets but I've lost one. I'm currently looking for another one I can replace it with because I actually lost it. I don't know where it is. And a piece of clear quartz on the end that was twin. So it had two pieces coming out of it, like the fork of a snake. I loved that piece of wood when I found it. And it's just pine. Found it in the forest when I was walking one day. It just made its way to my car. So fig, yeah. I love fig too, Ronnie. Yeah, so that's what we've said that. Holly is good for courage, for death, for divinity, healing, luck, protection, rebirth, unity, and it's also a good wood to use for any Yule celebrations. Laura, yep. Definitely. Yeah, I don't cut. I mean, eventually it's going to fall off, isn't it? So I'll wait and find it on the ground. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And if it's not, it's not. Eucalyptus. It represents the king of the forest. It's good for leadership, clarity, goals, focus, and also healing and protection. So that's what this one is I just found. Eucalypt. So I've got a few things I could dedicate that for or use it in. You don't have to dedicate it for a specific intention or purpose. You can you can have one wand and use it for everything. I've got a few more. Do you want to hear any more, or I've got a couple of crystals that I can go through. I've got another, because I've got a couple of Australian trees too. like ironbark, which is a form of eucalypt, and they represent strength, determination, prosperity, and protection. And I've actually got an ironbark one, but it's in the other room, and it's very similar to this one, like Mum's. It's just copper and wood. Mum and I use these ones a lot when we're traveling. So if we go camping or whatever, I'll take these if I want to do any work. Because let's face it, things like this are fragile. Then you don't want to, I don't want to break it. So I tend to use a lot of my crystals wands at home, except for this one. These are obsidian, and I've got two of them. I love them. They are the best. And these are healing wands, specifically for healing. And I use them a lot. I just massage my shoulders. They are awesome. So, they do come camping with me. Actually, they go everywhere with me. They've seen a lot of Australia, those two wands. Just pine and birch and elm. I saw something on elm, and pine's actually one I have here, so I'll read you that out in a minute. But they've all got properties to them and correspondences. So beautiful trees actually. I love maple. It's beautiful. So pine you can use for abundance, emotions, fertility, good luck, healing, immortality, love, prosperity, protection, purification, regeneration. So collect your pine. And then there's red gum. Red gum represents fire, release, change, transformation, purification and cleansing. And wattle. Wattle is my God, represents wealth, success, good fortune, masculine energy, and abundance. Now let me just read what I've got here. There's a lot of information out there on them. I use this book a lot for correspondences, and this is it's called A Wiccan's Walk in Oz. And I don't consider myself Wiccan, but this has some awesome information in it. And it relates to the Southern Hemisphere in particular. It's written for the Southern Hemisphere, but it also has, and what I like about it, I don't know if you can see that, but it also has the Northern Hemisphere correspondences, so you can see the differences. It's a fantastic book. I love it. And it has just so much information in it. And it's got a little bit on Australian trees and things, so that's where I got the information for the Aussie trees that I was just talking about. So let me catch up, hold on. A palm frond one. I love it. Well, it definitely, Laura, I'm going to now look up what palm's good for and correspondences, all right? And I'll let you know. I think that's a ripper. Celtic runes. Sherry, yes, they do. And I actually, there's a couple of good websites. I can put them in my notes and put them into Google Classroom, and I still owe you I think last one's, I'll get there with it. But I'll put them up, and I'll put the websites, and it particularly did, one was particularly on on Ogham, the Celt runes and the uses of the trees, so I'll put that up there. Yeah, I'll type them up. I just realised how many books I bought out to. So that's one pile, and oh my god, that's another pile, and these are mostly on crystals. Actually, these are all on crystals. So yeah, I have a bit of a crystal fetish, I think, as most of us do. But I'll put them. I'll type a list of them up and put them up. Look, honestly, any crystal book you find will have some valuable information in it. I was just trying to find a cheap one I bought. I think this one. I bought this one from not Target, Big W, which is just like a cheap sort of, I don't know. It's like Target. I think it cost me $10, and it's not the best book, but it's got some great stuff in it. It's information, so you can take it or leave it as you want. So yeah, we'll make a list of these and put them up in Google Classroom for you. Okay, so I'll just do a few crystals, and then sort of meanings and things that you might want to use when you're making like your wand. If you have a specific intention like that one with the kyanite, for healing and for moving energy. So it's not just for healing; it's for moving energies. So if you want to get rid of some of the negative energies in your house, even you could use that for that, because it moves energy. It flows. Okay, does that make sense? Oh, Casey, well, I'm glad you're back. All right, so some crystals that you could use. And you don't have to just use them as tips like on this one. You can add them along the stick if you're making a wood one. So let's go. Agate. Some of the properties of agate are it's yin and yang energy. It's a stabilizer. It stabilizes your aura, and it also imparts strength. So it's a good healing stone to have too. Grapevine. Yes, Ronnie. Yes, grapevine is awesome. I have a friend that has grapevines, and she picks them, and I use them to make the wreaths as well. And if you can get them green, put them in a bucket of water, and let them, so they take that round shape in the bucket. They actually will stay that shape, and then you just wind it, bind your ends. So, sorry, that's completely off track. You got me ranting on something else, Ronnie. The grapevine's awesome, and it has some great properties to it too. All right, so sorry. Amethyst facilitates spirituality and contentment, and it enhances psychic ability. So if you want to do some work with any of your psychic abilities, you add some amethyst to your wand. Calcite is good for clearing and cleansing, and it's also an energy amplifier. So if you want to amp up the energy, you might add some calcite. Herkimer diamond is good for clairvoyance, telepathy, awareness, and attunement. Kyanite tranquility, communication, psychic awareness, and moving energy. Hey, Jackie. Malachite, transformation, spiritual development, and it clears the way to attain your goals. So if you are working on any, if you're doing any, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Any work on goals and goal work, any work around that, achieving your goals, malachite would be a good one to add to your wand. Obsidian dispels negativity, grounding, healing, and protection. And that's this one, obsidian. And like I said, I use it specifically for healing and I guess dispelling the negative energy as well throughout my body. I do love those ones. Clear quartz, one of my favourites. Amplifier and master healer, and I'll say no more on that. Amazing stone to have at the tip of your wand, because it will amplify the energy that you're sending through your wand. That's all right, Jackie, no worries. And ruby. Ruby is good for spirituality, wealth, and protection. And they're just a couple, and they are some of those magical properties and correspondences are just a few. They have so many more properties to them. So do your research. Pyrite. Pyrite's awesome. I love pyrite. I did do a live on pyrite, Ronnie. So you can go back and the notes for that are in Google Classroom, so you could have a look at the properties of pyrite, and yeah, you could definitely add that. You could add it. You could even, if you found a nice natural chunk, you could add it as your tip. And the only last one I have is, yeah, I did, and the notes are definitely in Google Classroom for pyrite. I did something else with it. I can't remember what it was. It might have been kyanite. I've done kyanite as well, so those notes are in there as well. The last bit I have is metals that you can use around your wand. So silver, you could use. Might be a bit expensive, but you could. I mean, even if you had a silver chain that broke, you could use that to wrap around. Silver is often considered a neutral metal, and it has strong connection to the moon. So if you are doing any moon work, any spells and things around the moon, you could use some silver around your wand to I keep going to say enlighten it, but that's not what I mean. It's good, also good for developing your psychic skills as well, silver. Tin is used in rituals to attract things that you desire most. And it's good for success, prosperity, and abundance. And it's a really good healing metal as well. It's really good for rejuvenation and regeneration as well. Now, there was a crystal that was good for that, so you might... Where was it? Got so much running through my head. I can't even see. I can't find it. But you might add that crystal to another wood that's really good for rejuvenation and regeneration, to really make that a powerful spell or ritual. And the last one I've got is just copper, often associated with the goddess Venus as well as the planet Venus. So if you work with either the goddess or the planet Venus, copper would be a good one to have with you. It's an awesome conductor as it allows the flow of energy back and forth. And I guess that's why Mum loves to be able to touch that copper on her wand, to feel that flow of energy. Copper's good for abundance, prosperity, and financial stability. So, and that's basically all I have. I can show you a couple of the little books that I've got. I probably won't show them all, but I will type them up as, in the reference for you to have a look at. And look, by no means am I saying that you should get any of them. You get what you want and what resonates with you, the books. Like I said, I get a lot of these. They're only cheap, like $10, $5, some of them. But it's just a different information, and sometimes they've got a different stone that other books don't have. And yeah, a lot of mine are based around the healing aspect of crystals too. So I'm sorry about that. But that's my passion. So this one's a good book, Healing Crystals, the A to Z Guide. It's got 430 gemstones in it. It's by Michael Geiger. It's it's got a lot of stones and a little bit of information, but it's good information. So I think that was about $10, maybe $9. That one. That's crappy. There's one, Crystal Rituals by the Moon. As you can see, I've got tissues and paper or in bits I want to do. But it has lots of good rituals. It's a good book, this one, actually. It's quite interesting. And it does talk about some of the properties and things that of some of the crystals. I love this book. It's called Crystals. Understand and connect to the medicine and healing of crystals. She's an Australian lady, Rochelle Charman, her name is, and I've actually done about 4 different workshops and courses through her. She's amazing, and her passion for crystals is amazing. It's a really, really good book. You could probably get it online if you're interested, but I'll post it up and you can have a look at the information. This one's a really awesome book. It's got so much information. It's incredible. It's called Love is in the Earth, a Kaleidoscope of Crystals, and this one's the updated version. There's quite a few updated versions, I do believe, and it's by Melody. It's an amazing book, but it is information. It does not have a picture in it. So you need to know what your crystal is before you can research it in this book. But I think she realised that she didn't have pictures and people didn't know what their rocks were or their crystals were. So she made this little thing. This is called Love is in the Earth, Passport to Crystals. So all the crystals that are in this book, she's actually put a picture of and just a brief, correspondences for it. So, really good book, that one. I'd recommend it. It's got so much information. It gives you lots of correspondences, like the numbers, astrological, just, yeah, really great book. This one is another one. This one's specifically on crystal wands. It's by Ewald Kleigel. I'm probably killing his name, but it's good. It's a good little book. I don't think it was very expensive. $13 that one cost me. but I really, it's got a lot of information, and it's also, this is one I found the Septarian wand in. It goes through all different types of crystal wands and gives you their properties, mostly from a healing perspective, but again, so I do apologise. Where this is for healing, massage, therapy, and reflexology, this one. So, but it's got a lot of good information in it, really good information. And I was actually reading about this little passage about when your crystals split and crack and break, which was really interesting. So a lot of information. And it gives you techniques too, as well, if you want to try them on yourself with your wands. Crystal Bibles 1, 2, and 3. You can't go wrong with those, either or. This one is just a beginner's guide to crystals by Lisa Butterworth. Again, it's got pretty pictures and it's got lots of information. So I love this book, and as you can see, I use it a lot. It's got heaps of bookmarks in it. It's called The Healing Crystal First Aid Manual. Really interesting book. It goes in a lot of detail about specific illnesses. So this one's on dermatitis and what crystals and things you could use for that, and some of the ways you can use them for that specific ailment. Good book. This one also is not a bad book at all. This one's Healing with Flower and Gemstone Essences, so it's making your own essences with crystals. Crystal Healer, another really good book. I think I got this from Target. It's got lots of information, and again, the pictures to show you what your crystal looks like. So if you're trying to find what crystal you've got. This one's a pretty good book too. I quite like this. It's not that bad. It's called The Complete Illustrated Guide to Crystal Healing, Step-by-Step Guide to Using Crystals for Health and Healing. It's by Simon Lilly. I love reading, and I have a lot of books. This is only half of my crystal books, so, but I love it for the information. So because each book has different information, so yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with buying books. Stones of the New Consciousness. Healing, Awakening, and Co-Creating with Crystals, Minerals, and Gems. This isn't a pretty heavy read, but it's quite a good read. And it's got some different and unusual crystals. Libyan Gold Tektite is one that's in there. Shamanite. Yeah. Merkabite Calcite. Maldo Quartz. It's got some interesting information in it. So, and the Book of Stones, who they are and what they teach you. Another heavy but interesting and good informational read. That one. That's by Robert Simmons and Naisha Aishin, I think. I don't know. I'll add it to the list and you can have a look at it. So basically that's all I've got. I hope that was informative in some way or another. Hold on, what have we got here? Let me go back. Let me see. Does it matter how you attach the crystals? Sorry, Casey, I just saw this. I was rambling and not looking at the comments. To the crystals, to the wood. And Ronnie said she uses glue or hot glue and beaded garnets with a string. Yep. And no, I guess it doesn't. You can use glues and things like that, whatever you want. What I'm trying to do now is to I don't actually have one here. I make my own resin. So this is, oh shit, if I don't break it. This one is a resin. You can see the resin around the stones, and it's carved the resin, or a clay. Like you could use clay as well. The free setting one is probably better than the baking clay. If you're using clay, you don't really want to put your crystals into the oven. You can, but it might change the look of them as well. So I make my resin out of pine sap and charcoal and beeswax. That's it. Have to collect the pine sap, obviously, go out to the forest regularly. And you have to boil it, sort of melt it all together, crush the charcoal, add it all, because the charcoal's the binding. It sort of helps to bind it and make it that harder consistency. And that's what I was getting wrong, the consistency of the wax compared to the consistency of the charcoal. And that's why when it got really warm or hot, it'd start to heat up and melt a bit. And maybe one day in the future when I do perfect it, I can do a live on that and show you how to make your own resins. It's fun. I really enjoy it. Must look weird out there collecting all the pine resin off the trees in the forest. But never mind. So I hope that answered your question, Casey. I love copper and silver too, Chantel. Okay, well, tissue bookmark. I use whatever I can find. They aren't used tissues, but trust me, they're all clean. I think they are anyway. Oh dear. Anyway, on that note, I'll type up the books and I'll try and add a photo of the cover into it as well, just so you can see what they look like. Or maybe I'll just add the front covers of them all. Anyway, I'll work it out and I'll get them in there as soon as I can. I've got to work this weekend, but I'll try and get them done before next weekend. Okay. Is there a big difference between the Crystal Bibles 1, 2, and 3? They just have different. They have different crystals in them. So, the Crystal Bible 1 has a lot of your basic, or not basic, but popular stones. And then 2 and 3 tend to get into a few more that have, maybe just recently been found or becoming more popular stones, crystals that they've, learning more about properties and things like that. So yeah, they do have different stones in them. If that helped. They're just as good. I mean, I guess it depends what crystal you're looking for as to what book you'll find it in. I hope that answered your question. Yeah, Casey said all 3 of hers are different. They've got different stones and different things in them. Information. And a couple of books that I didn't bring out, but they're in my bedroom. I actually borrowed from the library. Our libraries over here have some great books on crystals and things like that you can get a hold of. So yeah, if you can get to a library, go and check them out. Making resin it can be a bit messy, Ellen, but it's fun. It's very rewarding too once you see it set in what you want to make with it. So you can make jewelry and all sorts of stuff with the resin. Set your stones in it. All right, girls. I hope you enjoyed that. Crystals make everything better. I totally fucking agree with that, Jennifer. And my husband will often tell people if someone say, oh, I've got a sore shoulder, or I've got this wrong with me, and he'll say, oh, Jady's got a crystal for that. So, yeah, crystals make everything better, and there's a crystal for everything. All right, girls. Well, blessed be. Have a lovely evening over your way, and I'm going to go enjoy the beautiful sunshine. It's like freezing in here. I hope you couldn't see my jaw chattering away, so I'm getting really cold. All right. Well, Ronnie, I expect to see you out scraping all the sap off the pine trees, all right? So you can collect it. If you want to know more, let me know. But I'll talk to the girls, and maybe next year early sometime I can do a live on it. All right, girls. Take care. Blessed be. See you all soon. Bye.